Before Grindr, before Tinder, before even Match.com, there were the personal ads in the New York City Village Voice newspaper. I was new to the city, very young, very naive, and desperate for my first serious romance. I decided to take out an ad. Blonde, 22-year-old, SWF, single white female. Juliet, seeking her Romeo, SWM, on the Upper West Side. I wondered if anyone would notice my little ad. So the next week, the Village Voice forwarded a bulk envelope of responses. And it was an avalanche of letters on paper with stamps and everything. Now, some men just sent their names and their phone numbers. Other Romeos described how they'd romance their Juliet in terms that made me blush and drop the paper. And still other men sent photos of themselves in front of their cars with their shirts off. I was not attracting the well-read romantic I was looking for, so I decided to try again. This time, I picked a different pair of star-crossed lovers from an old Celtic myth, Tristan and Isolde. That culled the field. I didn't get any photos of men in their cars. I got a few longer, thoughtful letters, and most exciting, I got a studio-produced audio cassette of harp music. Tristan and Isolde. I was impressed. Even more so after my phone call with the soft-spoken musician who'd sent it. He had a dreamy British accent. He sounded perfect. Now, the voice said to always have that first meeting in public, so I had a plan all laid out. Why don't we meet at the castle in Central Park, I said. He agreed. I offered to bring a picnic lunch, and he said he'd bring his harp. Well, I said, oh, don't bother, it's too much trouble. And he said, oh, don't worry, I have a travel harp. So the day of my big date arrives. I'm nervous and I'm excited and I'm imagining this intimate conversation with my soft-spoken musician. The sun is shining, the birds are singing. I come into the park carrying my picnic basket and I look up towards the castle. And there, perched on a rock, is a man playing a small harp. A man in a lime green jester suit playing a harp. It had a hat with the bells on and the curly-toed shoes. My heart sank. What were the chances there were two harpists up there? Well, I was going to just turn and go home, but I thought maybe he'd seen me, and I just had to see this thing through, so I headed up the hill to meet my Romeo. Now, for a guy in a lime green jester suit, he was remarkably shy. He was kind of fidgety and nervous, but he'd taken precautions too. He brought a friend along with him. And that was kind of lucky because my soft-spoken musician was absolutely tongue-tied, silent and inarticulate. So his wingman and I just shared a friendly bottle of wine while my British Romeo wandered about the castle just flicking his harp. So I didn't find love that day, but I did learn an important lesson. It may not be a good idea to go out on a blind date with someone who offers to bring his travel harp.